Welcome to the Alcohol Reset, the podcast that helps you reset your habits, health, and relationship with alcohol without judgment or extremes. If you're looking to cut back, take a break, or just understand how drinking can affect your body and mind, you're in the right place. Each episode brings you science-backed insights on neuroscience, nutrition, and habit change to help you feel better, sleep deeper, and take control on your terms. I'm Mike Hardenbrook, best-selling author, neuroscience enthusiast, and habit change expert. I've helped thousands through my book and podcast to rethink their drinking, and now I'm here to help you do the same. Let's get started. Hey everyone, Mike Hardenbrook here. Ever feel like your body is just simmering a little? You can't quite put your finger on it, right? No obvious injury, you're not really sick, but something just feels, off. Maybe you're a bit more tired than usual, or your digestion's a little wonky, or maybe those old aches and pains are just sort of saying hello again. Well, today we're going to look into a potentially surprising reason behind that general feeling of imbalance: alcohol. Yeah, we're going to unpack the kind of sneaky way that even, moderate alcohol intake can be linked to this underlying buzz of chronic low-grade inflammation. Now, why should you care about this? Well, because this ongoing internal friction, it could be the real culprit behind those nagging symptoms we just talked about, that fatigue that just sticks around, or the brain fog that clouds your focus, maybe even those mysterious gut issues. Think of this as getting some useful intel, because understanding this connection, it really gives you a chance to actually feel better. So first off, what exactly is inflammation? Basically, it's your body's natural response to things like stress or injury. Picture it as your body's internal alarm system. Short term, that's really helpful. It helps you fight off a bug or heal a scrape. That's the good kind. But what we're focusing on today is the long-term, low-grade kind. This is where your immune system stays on alert for way too long, and instead of helping, it could start causing problems itself. Our goal today, to understand how that glass of wine, or maybe a couple of years, could be contributing to this hidden inflammation, and also to explore some genuinely practical ways to dial it back. And no, this isn't about suddenly needing to live in a bubble, promise. Okay, so let's get into how alcohol actually gets this inflammatory party started. One of the main ways is by messing with your gut. Think of your gut lining like a super diligent security guard for your whole system. It's a barrier, right? It's meant to keep all the bad stuff, toxins, bits of bacteria inside your gut and out of your bloodstream. Now, alcohol can weaken this security. It can make the walls of your gut a little more permeable, because it's often what people call a leaky gut. And when that barrier gets a bit flimsy, those unwanted substances can sneak through into your bloodstream. And guess what happens when your body spots these intruders? The immune system kicks in, goes on alert, and that leads to more inflammation system-wide. You might not feel a specific pain right there, but over time, this can definitely show up as that persistent tiredness or, that delightful bloating many of us know too well. And it's not just the gut feeling, the heat, so to speak. Alcohol, especially when we're talking about more than just a tiny sip, can directly nudge your immune cells into action, even when there's no obvious threat like an infection or something. It's like your body going into this state of low-level alert just all the time. Over the long haul, this constant low-grade stress can really chip away at your well-being. It could potentially contribute to those stiff or achy joints you might feel, in the morning or after sitting, or those mood swings that seem to come out of nowhere, or even just that general puffy sensation some people get. The really important thing to keep in mind here is that your immune system doesn't really get a proper chance to reset, to calm down, if you're regularly introducing alcohol into the mix. It's kept on its toes. Then there's your liver. Oh, the liver, that incredible multitasking organ. It's absolutely crucial for filtering out toxins and generally keeping your internal environment balanced, and that includes managing inflammation. When you drink alcohol, you're essentially giving your liver extra shifts, a lot of extra shifts. You're making it work much harder just to process the alcohol itself. And this extra workload can actually hinder its ability to do its other vital jobs, like clearing out those inflammatory compounds properly. Think of it like, rush hour on the liver highway area and just slows down and gets congested. And a sluggish, bogged down liver, that can mean more inflammation just hanging around in your system, more fatigue dragging you down, maybe even a slower metabolism. And interestingly, this can also have ripple effects on your hormone balance and even your overall immune function. It's all deeply connected inside. Okay, let's talk sleep. Who here loves waking up feeling like they wrestled the bear all night, even if you technically got, 8 hours in? Well, alcohol can be a real sneaky saboteur of good quality sleep. And sleep is prime time for your body to repair and reset itself. And that includes calming down inflammation. So even though that night camp might make you feel drowsy initially, make you fall asleep faster perhaps, It actually tends to mess with the deeper, more restorative stages of sleep later in the night, especially REM sleep. Plus, alcohol can also encourage the release of stress hormones like cortisol, which isn't exactly relaxing. So you might wake up feeling tired, maybe foggy headed, or even achy, even if you thought you slept soundly. It's kind of a cruel trick alcohol plays. And there's another, maybe less obvious way alcohol contributes to inflammation. It's through the roller coaster it can send your blood sugar on. You might get these rapid spikes after drinking, especially sugary drinks, followed by those really energy draining crashes later. These big ups and downs put your body under a kind of internal stress. And what can stress feel? You guessed it, more inflammation. Over time, regular alcohol intake can even play a role in something called increased insulin resistance. That's where your body becomes less responsive to insulin, the one that regulates blood sugar. And that resistance itself is another factor linked to chronic inflammation and even things like increased fat storage, particularly around the midsection. You might notice you feel hungrier more often, or maybe a bit more irritable, or just generally more wiped out during the day after drinking. That could be the blood sugar effect. So, all right, how do you know if any of this might be relevant to how you're feeling? Let's talk about some common clues that your inflammation levels might be a little higher than you ideally want. Do you find yourself consistently feeling tired, like really tired, even after what should have been a decent night's sleep? Do you experience that frustrating brain fog, or those moments where your thoughts just feel fuzzy or slow? How about stiff or achy joints? Not necessarily agony, but just a constant sort of background hum of discomfort. Bloating or other digestive hiccups that seem to pop up regularly, maybe without a clear food trigger. What about frequent headaches? Or perhaps those annoying skin flare-ups like redness or breakouts? And lastly, maybe take a moment to check in with your mood. Had you noticed yourself feeling more anxious lately, or more irritable, or just generally moodier than usual? These could all be little signals, little whispers from your body that it might be dealing with a bit too much internal inflammation. It's really about tuning in and starting to recognize potential patterns. Now for some encouraging news. You don't necessarily need to become a, teetotaling monk living like hail to make a difference here. Not at all. There are some genuinely practical, doable steps you can take to help sort of cool those internal flames without completely flipping your lifestyle upside down. One of the simplest, yet honestly most effective strategies. Just cut back a bit on how often you're drinking. Giving your body even just a few off days each week allows your gut, your liver, and your immune system some valuable breathing room. Time to recover and reset. Hydration is also huge. Like really huge. Make a conscious effort to drink plenty of water every day, but especially on days when you do have alcohol. It helps flush things out. Now let's talk about what you're putting on your plate. Food matters. Incorporating more anti-inflammatory foods into your diet can really help counteract some of alcohol's less desirable effects. It gives your gut and liver some extra support. Think about loading up on leafy greens, spinach, kale, chard. Think fatty fish like salmon packed with those amazing omega-3s. Berries, blueberries, raspberries, full of antioxidants. Satisfying nuts and seeds. Using good quality olive oil when you cook. These foods are like giving your body the right tools for the job of keeping inflammation nicely in check. And please, don't underestimate the power of good sleep in managing your stress levels. Seriously. Poor sleep and ongoing stress are majorly contributors to inflammation all on their own. So adding alcohol into that mix can really be like throwing fuel on the fire. It compounds the issue. Focus on creating a calming routine before bed to help you wind down. Maybe less screen time. Explore stress-reducing habits that work for you. Could be deep breathing exercises, some stretching, or even just a regular walk outdoors. Nature helps. And definitely try to limit alcohol, especially close to bedtime. It really can give your body a much better shot at that truly restorative, inflammation-reducing sleep. Finally, let's just touch quickly on supporting your body with the right nutrients. Alcohol can actually deplete some key nutrients that are involved in managing inflammation. It uses them up or hinders absorption. One that's particularly important to mention is magnesium. Magnesium plays a really vital role in regulating your immune response, calming your nervous system right down, and directly helping to reduce inflammation markers. Plus, bonus, it's fantastic for supporting better sleep and helping you bounce back from stress. It's a real powerhouse. You can find that in foods like, again, leafy greens, also seeds like pumpkin seeds, almonds too, and for a little extra targeted support, sometimes a gentle supplementation option can be helpful. For example, the specific form of magnesium in Cloud9's Rise and Unwind PM formula is designed for relaxation and sleep support, which, as we've seen, ties right back into managing inflammation. It can be a useful tool in your toolkit. So, okay, to bring this all together, what's the key takeaway here? It's that even those seemingly casual drinks, the ones you don't think much about, can have a sneaky impact on your body. They can contribute to this underlying low-grade inflammation. And that inflammation, in turn, could show up in all sorts of unwelcome symptoms you might not have directly connected to your drinking habits before now. But, and this is the important part, the good news is that you absolutely have the power to make some simple, yet really effective changes. Changes to help reduce this inflammation without necessarily needing to wave goodbye to alcohol forever if that's not your goal. So here's something to think about. How do you typically feel in the, say, 24 hours after you've had a few drinks? Could some of that general meh feeling, that tiredness or irritability, be your body sending you little signals, hints of a bit of internal friction? What small, totally manageable tweak might you try experimenting with this week? Maybe it's just adding an extra glass of water for every drink, or consciously sneaking in some more leafy greens at dinner, or deciding on one extra alcohol-free evening. Just try one small thing. See if you notice any subtle shifts, any improvements in how you're feeling overall. Thanks so much for joining me on this look into the science today. Hope it gave you some food for thought. That's a wrap for today's episode. If you got something out of this, do me a quick favor, leave a rating and review on whatever podcast platform you're listening on. It helps keep the show going and would mean the world to me. Got ideas, comments, or questions? Shoot me an email at mike@trycloud9.com. I'd love to hear from you. And if you're looking for extra support, check out Cloud9, makers of Daily Restore, a once-a-day supplement to support your body from alcohol's effects, and Rise and Unwind AM/PM, a 24-hour combo to curb cravings, balance mood, and improve sleep when taking a break. Go to trycloud9.com and use the code PODCAST to save 15% on your next order. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next time.